Your penalty kick moment is what you've talked about for many, many years now. And I just want to talk about how that moment has influenced the growth of the game throughout and what we see today with our women's national team.
Well, I think there's two ways to look at it. I think one is just the external, outside of the normal soccer fan spectrum, and how many people have been drawn in by that World Cup, not just by the moment, but just the enormity of the 90,000 plus people at the Rose Bowl and the ripple effects that game had going forward. Can't tell you how many times I've spoken with people about how they got involved with soccer for the first time, whether that's in coaching, whether that's in fandom, whether that's in playing. And it's just, it makes me so happy every time I hear it. I think in terms of the game itself, I think globally, it really put federations and FIFA to look at the value of women's football and to see that they have grossly undervalued this great resource that it's had for so long. And even though we're not where we want to be, we're edging closer to the place that we deserve to be.
Brandi, you have one of the most iconic moments in not just women's soccer history, but in the history of soccer. And it's something when I was a kid, when I watched the 99ers World Cup, I went outside and was replicating with all of my teammates, and it inspired my playing career. I'm such a fan. Who do you see on the U.S. seeing an iconic moment or living up to those moments that you see that potential happening? Who on the roster?
I think we have to shout out Sophia Smith. I think she's going to be an X factor for us. Honestly, I think she's going to have to score a ton of goals. I think this tournament defending is going to be something that we have to put as our number one priority, and I'm not sure that that's where our head's at or our game plan is. So, we're going to have to score a lot of goals. She is quite talented. Obviously, I got to see too much of her sitting on the sideline at Santa Clara University when she played at Stanford, but she is a talent. She's kind of a one in a generational talent, and I look forward to her making big strides and making a big impact. I think she's got the right disposition. She loves scoring goals. She gets into the right places. She can run past people. She's comfortable with the ball at her feet. She can finish with both feet. So honestly, I think she's going to make a huge difference. I think Naomi Girma, in the less sexy position of center back, organizing and having that calm and that composure. She's very intelligent. She comes from my hometown, so she knows she's full of greatness. And so, I think those two players are really going to be big impact players for the U.S. Yeah. And the fact that they're young players is obviously speaking to the future, but they have to step up big right now.
Yeah. You just mentioned Santa Clara Broncos, so I got to say, go Broncos, Brandi. You coached me a lot when I was in college. You had a lot of insight for me from the sideline in training sessions. You are a coach yourself. You love this game with all of your heart. There are going to be some difficult decisions for Vlatko Andonovski. He's going to have to take some risks. What do you foresee being some of the difficult things that he's going to have to face over this next month, hopefully?
Yeah, this is a great question, and I think it's one of those that I don't think most people would envy his position in that way, Jordy. Like, having to make those really tight decisions in these really pressure cooker kind of moments. But I think as coaches, that's part of what we sign up for, right? I would love to be making the decision that he's making, and I think you have to go with a great balance of veteran experience with these young, talented flyers who are going to absolutely threaten the defenses of the opponents we're going to play. And I think before that even happens, what must be going on, I am sure, is that there's a lot of communication about what does it look like? What does a whole World Cup look like? What does it look like game by game? What's the role and responsibility of every player, whether you're playing 90, playing a half, you're on the bench, you never get in? What does that all look like, and how valuable each and every one of those are? I've been the role player in all of those positions, and really, even though we all want to be in the game, they are all critical. And so I really hope that Vlatko tends to that portion so that every single player feels empowered to fulfill their role in a way that they feel is absolutely contributing to the outcome of every game.
Brandi, when we talk about the 99ers and the amount of pressure that now leaves for the future generations and this one as well, how can they manage that when they're at this stage? Because you're the only person here that has been in, 3 days from a World Cup and what that feels like and looks like.
Yeah, honestly, I think as you're picking your team, you hope that you're picking players who have the fortitude to handle pressure, right? You're going to have to do that if you're going to a World Cup. You can't go in with a group of players who can't handle being under the spotlight, being asked to come through in a big way. So I think those players have kind of felt some of that already. I think also on top of that, Vlatko doesn't know what that's like. So I think it's up to some of the veteran players really to help the coaching staff as well as the players that have been there, Megan Rapinoe, Julie Ertz, to name two specifically, who have just, been leaders and been in big moments. And you can see that they understand them and that, they love the environment that they are in. Kelly O'Hara is probably another player who will help in that manner. So, I think it's managing people where they are, what they have to offer, and saying, listen, this is a once in a lifetime. We have to enjoy it as much as, as we can. And remember, nobody can put more pressure on us than us. So forget about all the external stuff that's happening and just let's go out and be who we are and do what we do well. And if we do those things, then results will come our way.
Clip that, right?
It's only a matter of time. 3 days. The countdown is on. Brandi, we've talked to you about the growth of the game globally, but it's happening domestically in the NWSL. And congratulations are in order to you with Bay FC. You're joining us live from the Bay right now. Since the initial launch and the logo, the colors, the name of Bay FC, what else has been happening with Bay FC? What can you share with us?
Well, we are going to make an announcement about where we'll play. We're going to make an announcement about some other hirings that we've done that we feel are going to change the landscape of how management in women's football is going to go in the future. And, ultimately, the most important thing we have left to do is the soccer piece and getting the players and the coaching staff in place, which we're really looking forward to doing. We believe in our community. We know our community absolutely loves women's soccer. You saw that with the U.S. women's national team playing Wales at PayPal Park. And they are thirsty. They are thirsty as they've ever been to have women's soccer back. So I can hardly wait for 2024. But I don't want to look past the Women's World Cup because I'm going to see every single second.
Yes.